Um, just one more thing, which I won't bother adding on to my first video, is I forgot one last thing, which is what certain policies have on society and different social groups. So, for this specific example, this doesn't really apply to any of the questions, but it does come under the criteria. Is the Antisocial Behaviour Act of 2003. Alright, so I'll give you some of what the restrictions are if an ASBO or Antisocial Behaviour Act is issued upon someone. So I'm just reading off the screen. It widens the use of antisocial behaviour orders to allow the local authorities, registered social landlords, and the British Transport Police to apply ASBOs. It allows police, community support officers to issue dispersal orders to any group of two or more people within a designated area whose behaviour by believe is likely to cause harassment, alarm, or distress to members of the public. Refusing to leave or returning to an area that constitutes a criminal offence. It grants police officers the power to order young people under the age of 16 to return home after 9, which is simply curfew. Creates on-the-spot fines for noise, graffiti and truancy. Creates closure orders, quickly named the crack house closure. This provision enables the police to shutter premises used for the supply, use or production of Class A drugs for a period of up to 6 months, so that would definitely reduce crime. Amends the definition of public assembly in section 16 of the Public Order Act of 1986, so that insists of about 20 people being required to constitute for an assembly, but only 2 are needed. That's just pretty much the background of it. So the way this would have an effect on the society is that if someone, it may not have a positive effect on specific individuals or social groups within a society. So if there is, I don't know, a group of people that that do sort of get caught up in a regular sort of, I don't know how to say it, sort of way of crime, they would just be issued with an ASBO, which would greatly restrict what they can and can't do. I mean, they're not like, it's not like they're putting them in prison, but it's still very restrictive of what you can and can't do. But on the alternative, it does greatly help a society in a local area. So if it does reduce crime in a local area, it can have a number of different effects on the society. So there would be a much less fear of crime, which is which pretty much creates more crime as it is if everyone is scared of crime, so they wouldn't even report it to the police, so more people would feel that they could get away with it in that area, so it would greatly reduce that. If something like even something as simple as stopping graffiti can actually raise the price of real estate in that area, so that would have a very positive effect on the society. it's all sorts of things. So even people getting injured through crime. So that will cost the government less money on the NHS, and actually paying to have criminals put into jail, which is actually a very costly sort of thing that they have to do. But through society, this act has come under a certain amount of criticism. So it says here that early debate revised the argument about whether ASBOs mark an unacceptable blurring of criminal and civil law. ASBOs are issued on a civil burden of proof on the balance of probabilities, but incur a criminal penalty if breached. So children's charities, they claimed police already had sufficient powers to deal with so-called nuisance crime, which is just, I don't know, graffiti, vandalism, even just being loud after hours. Kathy Evans from Children's Society said, "We are very concerned at the prospect of creating more ways, more reasons to punish children and to demonstrate children." So the negative ways an ASBO would have on a society is that in someone's youth, you would generally sort of be inclined to do stupid things. So, do graffiti, do vandalism. I mean, it doesn't really matter what you do. If you're issued with an ASBO, you're gonna get charged with a criminal record, and that would have a massive effect on later life just because of a stupid thing that you've done in the past. So, if someone notices that you do have a criminal record for something like that, it's almost impossible to get a decent job. And in some respects, a lot of people in society have just seen it as another way to keep criminals out of prison. So even though that an antisocial order does have specific instructions, and a lot of the time it does work, a lot of people won't bother to follow through with it. So in some respects, it's not even reducing the fear of crime, it's just keeping at a consistent rate before they do end up getting put in jail. So it's just as simple as that. Anyway, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed.